Hey everyone, welcome to my channel as a married man. I want to thank you all for tuning in and checking it out. It's here where we talk about love, life, relationships, and more, all from the perspective of a married man. So go ahead and hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get the message out, trying to grow the channel a bit. I'd like to reach a bigger audience, of course. And subscribing, sharing, liking, all that stuff, commenting, it all really helps. And I totally appreciate it. So today I'm going to be reviewing a YouTube video from a guy who's he's reviewing a YouTube video. So it's like YouTube review-ception. If you've ever seen the movie with Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio, it's like a review within a review within a review. But I just want to make sure to give credit to everyone here. Um, so I'm checking out a video, and it's from another YouTube channel named Busy Becoming Myself. And this gentleman is commenting on a video from the First Date podcast, which is another channel on YouTube. So, yeah, just real quick. First off, I want to give credit to Busy Becoming Myself and his channel, and to the First Date podcast channel. Um, Check them both out, guys. They're both pretty good. I'll post a link to both of those channels, but I want to make sure I gave them their props. Yeah, Busy Becoming Myself. He seems like he's a nice guy. He's a cool guy. He has some good content. I kind of binged watched some of this stuff in preparation just to get a feel of kind of the work that he does. And he gave some really good advice, and yeah, I definitely recommend checking him out. So, but more specifically, like the topic in question here, the video that Busy Becoming Myself was watching from the First Date podcast, it was all centered around a woman. As far as I can tell, her name is Christina P. And some of the advice that she gave during her interview on the First Date podcast. So, as I said, Busy originally commented on it, and yeah, I thought I'd comment on him commenting on it. So, and of course, I'll give my 2 cents at the end, as a married man. So, the video starts with Busy Becoming Myself, watching a clip from the First Date podcast, listening to Christina P. And I apologize. I don't know who this Christina is, whether she's a comedian or an advice columnist or something. Yeah, I'd apologize. I have no idea who she is, but she was giving a pretty a pretty hot take on the advice of dating. And the hostess of the First Date podcast asked her, what dating advice would you give a single girl, say 21? And Christina went on to state, just bang them all. Men are immature. Don't start looking or thinking of a husband yet. Um, Stuff like that. That's some of Christina's sage quotes that she gave. And it kind of blew me away. Like, just bang them all. Like, what kind of advice is that to a young girl? But Busy's listening in, and Christina, she continues in the video clip, and she goes on to she goes on to say, bang girls, bang guys, bang dogs, bang trans, um, just bang them quietly. Don't tell anyone, but keep an eye out for the good ones in college states. Like, keep these solid guys in your back pocket. like befriend them, but don't fuck them. It basically, like, once you're ready to settle, like, then call them up. Like, I paraphrased all that, of course. Yeah, I would advise you to could just go check this video out once you're done here. It's worth a watch just for the kind of the shock value of the advice she's giving. But yeah, that pretty much summed up all of Christina's advice on the topic of young women in the current dating market. Like, just bang them all. Um, and that's where the kind of the clip ends, and busy becoming myself starts discussing it. And he goes on to mention that there might be some people who might actually think that that's good advice that Christina gave, that there's no downside to it. Um, to use people for different things at different times of our lives, and like said, but you go on to state, like, there's an inescapable problem with all this. He states every action has consequences. Our ideas become our thoughts become actions, our actions become habits, and habits become who we are. And that's real talk right there. Like, what we think is kind of what we become, and it could set a real bad precedent a little further down the road. Um, and Busy continues. He states, people that seek short-term gratification, short-term adventure, these people, they're never going to develop the sort of mental fortitude that's necessary for, like, long-term relationships. Like, sometimes these sort of people can stop. Others, they often don't know when or even how. And he proceeds to bring up some really relevant statistics on how, like, both men and women, well, especially women, like, the more sexual partners that we have before marriage, like, the less happy we're likely to be during that marriage. And like, the more sexual partners you have, the more likely you are to be unfaithful during marriage. And he's dropping these stats, and they're excellent. Would back up his argument, and just to sum it up real quick, like, he reinforces his claim that, the more sexual partners you have, the more likely you'll cheat. And from these stats, it shows, like, for example, a woman with 2 to 4 partners, that they're like 6 times more likely to cheat. Like, 5 to 10 sexual partners, you're almost 10 times more likely to cheat. And then, God forbid, like, a woman who has more than 20 sexual partners, like, she's over 16 times more likely to cheat on her husband. This data he was showing, it was from the General Social Survey. So it wasn't something like Maxim magazine or some other dubious source. But like, it's legit data he was throwing out there, and it was pretty shocking, to be honest. But it backs up his point really well there. Um, oh, I apologize. I should add I should add that a woman with one sexual partner, she's only like 1.90% likely to cheat on her husband. And so that's pretty minimal. But still, just having one sexual partner is enough to kind of up that statistic a little bit. So yeah, you start bumping those sexual partner numbers up to 5 to 10, or 10 to 20, or 20 or more, and it goes bad real quick. So I apologize, I apologize for the data dump, guys. all that nerd data analytics stuff, but it is relevant here, which is why I like busy becoming myself, put it out there. Um, it proves a good point. And he goes on to state, like, hey, pretty bluntly, like, what we're all thinking, like, what part of what Christina said sounded like a good idea. Like, he says, well, we're all thinking, what, listening to her say that, like, who thinks this is a good idea? Um, like someone telling you that carefree sex with multiple partners has no downside, like they're straight lying to you. And if you're a woman who, like, God forbid, falls for that, yes, you will get the attention you crave. You dig it? Like, of course, guys are going to give you attention if you're putting out, but those guys are never going to take you seriously. And Busy continues, like, men don't care about a woman's past unless he loves her. Let me say that one more time. Like, that's a truth bomb right there. Like, Busy states, men don't care about a woman's past unless he loves her. And that is like the straight truth right there. Like, a man, he he does want to see a woman's reaction, when it comes to love and intimacy and passion and sex. And like a guy does want to see a woman's reaction. Is he wants to see her expression to his touch, her receptiveness, and like her emotional response and physical response. And he goes on to state all that, and that's such good information. That's such truth in that statement right there. Like, but he plays a clip at this point, as he continues, as the video continues, and the clip is from a Dr. Orion Tarabin, and this doctor talks about the double standard of chastity. Um, and I'm not going to go word for word. I've been paraphrasing everything that everyone's been saying to this point, which is why, once again, I'll say, go ahead and check out Busy's video or the First Date Podcast's video. They're worth a watch. Um, like I'm brushing over this stuff pretty general. But the doctor, Caravan, he makes another excellent point here. The doctor, he talks about the frustrating double standard that men have with women. And that's true. I'll admit, as a man, and as a married man, like the doctor, he talks about how men prize chastity in a wife, but they don't want to see that. Um, they don't want to see anything like that in a casual lover. Men prize chastity in a wife, and they don't want to see that in a casual fling. And that's what the doctor has to state. And once again, that's so truthful. Um, but Busy goes on to mention, like, supply. Um, there's a lot of men out there who are willing to have sex with women, but there aren't always a lot of men who are willing to commit, um, until basically they get older. He equates the dating market kind of like to the job market, or with any market. Like, those who have the qualities that make them the highest in demand are on top. Like, they kind of get things on their own terms. Like, in the manosphere is what you'd call, like, the high value man and the alpha man. Like, to throw some manosphere lingo, like Busy's talking about the market, and high valued men, they basically will get what they want, especially as they get older. But he also talks about women, and these women, when they finally decide to call that, nice guy, as Christina mentioned in the beginning, that guy they kept in their back pocket. when these women, when they finally decide to, finally decided to settle down, as the, a lot of kind of, if you're in the manosphere, if you know, any woman that states that finally ready to settle down, her history is pretty dubious. But when that woman is ready to settle down, when she utters those words, a lot of time, a lot of times there are no high value men out there. She's not gonna find one. And I'm sure once again, guys and girls who are listening, you'll hear women lament, where are all the good men? Like they're gone. I'm sorry, but there are not, we're out of stock, And so these women that they decided to ride the carousel, these women that they wanted to find themselves in college, and like they're not gonna find a long-term suitable partner because those guys have moved on. Those nice guys they ignored in college, they're gone. Um, but just to get back to what Busy Being Myself was stating in his video, he talks about how sex is cheap and it's plentiful. Like, we have Tinder and Bumble, and I don't, I'm a married man, so I don't use them. I'm told there's like so many different dating apps. Those are the only two I, I know of, just from people talking about them all the time. But there's so many apps for sex and for hookups, and sex is cheap and it's plentiful, but finding a long-term partner is not. And this is where like Busy segues into a really sobering fact about women and childbearing. He mentions how 1 out of 10 women, they decide in their lives that they don't want children. So 1 out of 10 women decide they don't want to have children. Another 1 out of 10 decide that, well, they don't decide, they realize that they're not unable to have children. So 1 out of 10 decides they don't want children. Another 1 out of 10 decides they can't have. I'm sorry, I keep saying decide. They realize, unfortunately, that they can't have children physically. So that's the other 1 out of 10. So that leaves 8 out of 10 women. And these 8 out of 10 women are the women who want to have children, but will never get the opportunity. Like Busy mentions, he states, you snooze, you lose. And that's pretty much what happens with these other 8 out of 10 childless women. Like they wanted children, but they'll never get the opportunity. And that's kind of a tragic reality right there. Because they waited, they spent their youth, their most fertile years, riding the carousel, and now time to run out, Went back to what Busy states. He talks about Christina at this point. Like, why would she give such awful advice? He muses, um, like, and he goes on to state another truth bomb here. Like older men, older men see themselves in the lives of younger men. Older women see themselves as younger women. So like, being an older man myself, I can see elements of myself in younger guys nowadays, but older women my age, I'm talking in mid 40s, they still think of themselves as younger women. They think of themselves as competition, as being in competition with these younger women. And a lot of times, you know what, they are, because they're not married, they're not in relationships, and they see guys my age, older guys, who are choosing to date these younger women. And he brings up examples like that about how women, they tend to sabotage each other at times. Like, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the term like a frenemy. Like a woman, she'll stab her best friend in the back, like without hesitating if it means she can get a one up, you know? Like, and he mentions like with men, we're pretty straightforward when it comes to and competition and stuff. Like we'll say it straight to each other's faces, like, I'm going for that. That's what I want. And women, no, they're not so to the point. They'll plot and scheme and they'll backstab each other. And older women, yeah, they see younger girls, this newer generation as competition. And unfortunately, they kind of are their competition. Um, but Busy talks about that and yeah, it's a solid point. It's something I mean, you know what? I never really thought too hard on that, but it's very relevant and it's very true. And like misery loves company, and a lot of women will drag each other down. Like I've heard stories of women who they'll sabotage a relationship with like her they'll have a married female coworker in a loving relationship and they'll tell her, oh, he's a bum, he's no good, and come to the club with us instead, and they'll actively try to sabotage that woman's marriage just because they're bitter and they're angry and, well, I'm divorced and I'm miserable, so this woman has a smile on her face and gushes about her husband, like, I'm gonna drag her down to my level. And that's insane to think about, but it happens. So, like my man here, he states the importance of a woman having male figures in their lives, like brothers and a solid father figure. Like, why do you ask? It's because these men, they're the only ones sometimes in that woman's life who isn't like trying to fuck them, like they're trying to they have their best interest in mind. Like I'm a father myself, aside from being a married man. I'm a dad, and I got two teenage daughters, guys. But it's very true. Like I have those girls' best interests in mind. And like I even showed them this Christina video, and we'll get to that later. But like it is important for a woman to have male, um, close male relatives in their lives, figures that can give them that sort of wisdom because no one else will. Like in a world full of men trying to bed them, they got the brother and the father at home who are just looking out for their best interests. So, that was pretty much sums up the last of what Busy had to say in his video as he was revealing the first date podcast video. But he said so much, he imparted so much knowledge to the men and the women out there that's why I decided I wanted to really do a video on this. Um, But what are my thoughts as a married man? Well, let me reverse, back to the beginning here. Yeah, I found his video as I was kind of trolling YouTube. Um, I follow a lot of men's channels. I believe it or not, a lot of women's channels, relationship channels in general, and just seeing this video that he made was mind blowing, and then seeing what Christina said on this first date podcast was mind blowing. And as I said, I'm the father of two teen girls, and like I said, I had them actually watch this. Like there are going to be women trying to steer you wrong, and God forbid, like this advice is absolutely atrocious. Do it the opposite of what Christina says here, but just going over Busy's video, Yeah, he watches it, the whole clip with Christina and what she states, and he's dropping facts the entire way. He's dropping like stats, like actual statistics on relationships and monogamy and cheating and but like he made some statements that were pretty powerful. Like every action has consequences. Our ideas become our thoughts become our actions become our habits, habits become who we are. Like that's smart, like, and it's true. And he mentioned that because these people, especially women that are chasing short-term gratification, that thrill seeking, like the thrill of a one night stand, that have casual sex, that short-term dopamine hit, that really F's up their ability to function in a long-term relationship, especially marriage. And I know a lot of my MTOW red pill manosphere brothers out there are nodding in agreement right there that it destroys a woman's ability to pair bond. And pair bonding, that's a term used frequently on like every men's relationship YouTube channel out there. Pair bonding. The more partners a woman has, the less likely she can form an effective bond with one man. And then Busy throws out this stat about cheating, and that just proves the point, like, and then that's what we've been saying the whole time, this red pill community, that that's why you don't want these women who have body counts, they're racking up Call of Duty kill streak 20 plus body counts without even trying before they even turn 25. They're calling in the helicopter support, If you're familiar with Call of Duty, I sucked at that game, by the way. I think I got the helicopter perk once with a 20 kill streak, but anyway, sorry to go off topic there. I fucking Call of Duty, man. But anyways, you'll hear me personally talk about the trad wife, the unicorns I call them. Yeah, for some reason, I always have to stay the unicorn. She's not extinct. She's just extremely rare. These mythical women that are, they're chaste, they're pure. These virgins, trad wives, these women who are looking for monogamous relationships. They want love. They want marriage, children. They want a man who will, to share their lives with, They're content being homemakers, they're content being mothers. And they're the guys, I'm sorry, they're the women that guys actually are seeking, whether they want to admit it or not, whether how MTOW you are or red pill you are, you know damn well you want a woman like that. Um, the MTEL preaches no relationships, no marriage, et cetera. But like, guys do want women like that. Guys are just so sick of looking. And then they hear Christina over here talking absolute mess to the next generation of young girls. And it's, like Busy states, like a man doesn't care about a woman's past unless he loves her. Like that's so much truth to that statement. Like these guys, they meet up with a tender fling. They're not asking her, so how many guys have you been with? Like that's a question you ask a woman whom you want to get serious with, and you want to hear her say those magical words that I'm a virgin, Um, but continuing on, like Busy backs this up with that clip from Dr. Taliban, who he calls it the frustrating double standard of men. Um, Men who prize chastity in a wife, they don't care about it at all with a casual lover, and that I said that backs it up. That backs up what it is that men want. What does a man want? He wants a track life, He wants a woman who is unsullied by other men. Like Like it's such common knowledge in the manosphere. Like men don't want some. We just want the most simple of things, you know. But it's so hard to find, and that sucks. And like the doctor said, like men prize chastity in a wife, not a casual lover. Like remember that. Um, but yeah, it's just busy. Just he goes on a little bit about, you know, like there's always a supply of sex out there. There's an endless supply of men looking for sex, but it's getting so much harder to find men who want commitment with that sex. And why is that? Because men are going their own way. They're the focusing on themselves, their betterment, their purpose, their grind. Um, and they're waiting because they know once they hit 30, they don't there isn't the same wall laid out for them as there is for women. And these older men in their 30s and whatnot, they're just gonna go for a younger woman. And then that's where Christina comes into the picture, you know? Like, here's Christina saying, like, just bang them all and, you know, keep that nice guy in your pocket. Like, she doesn't mention the fact that that doesn't work anymore. Like, guys aren't dumb, you know? Like, guys are on to women. Like, we've adapted and we've overcome. And, like, we've had to. Like men don't want women who are post wall, like post carousel, like you know, the 20 plus kill streak, body count, the town bicycle. They want marriage material, not casual sex. And that's the truth. Like as a married man, like having my, you know, being in the manosphere, as I keep saying, like even beta guys, like blue pill guys, they're waking up to that. Like no one wants a high body count woman because a high body count woman has no value to men, especially guys who do want to get married, which is a lot more guys than will let on. Um, they want a unicorn, they want a trad wife. Like I'm sorry, like that's just how it is. And like what I found sad, you know, like what Busy stated in his video, like he threw out the stat about women wanting children and how I said earlier, like, you know, 1 out of 10, she decides I don't want to have kids. You know, 1 out of 10, she finds out I'm unable to have kids. And that leaves 8 out of 10 women who do want kids and will probably never get kids. Why is that? Because she waited. She waited till she was in her late 30s. You know, insert that empty egg carton meme right here, guys. You know, these women, they ride the carousel throughout their youth. They waste their most fertile, youthful, like childbearing years partying, finding themselves, and they wake up one day and their youth is gone. And then that's what, and where does Christina come into all this? Like, he's over here telling women just have as much sex as you want, and like that as a man, as a married man, and even busy becoming myself knows it. Like that's the most stupid advice you could ever give a woman. But why does Christina say it? She says it because she's jealous, and she says it because she's like basically spiteful. She says it as Busy went on to state. Older women see younger women as competition. Um, so it actually pays off to give them the most terrible advice that you can because you're competing with them for those same 30 plus year old solid, nice guy men who are out there. Like these post wall high body count women are competing with these younger girls. So it pays to give them misinformation. And that's kind of the crux of this entire review-ception that I did today is, you know, why would Christina say something so outrageous? Is it for comedic effect? I don't know. Is it that she's trying to kind of weed out the competition, like maybe because a lot of older women, that's what they're willing to do that. Throw others under the bus just to get a spot up, you know. But what they don't understand is, I'll wrap this up fast here. Guys don't want high body count women. They don't respect them. They want women they can wife up. They want trad wives. They want unicorns. And a man nowadays, he knows his worth and he knows a woman's worth. And a woman doesn't have a lot of worth if she has the body count. And that pretty much sums this entire thing up, guys. So, like in a world full of Christines, like women need to see past what she's doing and absolutely ignore the advice she gives. And like lastly, before I go, like to all the young women out there, like my daughters included, like know your worth, like know your value as a woman, like keep your chastity, like keep your virtue, ladies, keep your virginity, like save yourselves. If a man that you're dating wants sex on the first date, girls, if you want sex on the third date, if he's expecting it, tell him to fuck off. Just tell him to go back to Twitter. Like a man will out himself within the first 3 dates. If all he's looking is to get laid, then you know what kind of man that is. Like a quality man will wait if you're a quality woman. So that's about all I got to say in regards to this. Like, be a quality woman, and a quality woman doesn't sleep around. She doesn't just bang them all. And a quality man will respect that. And he'll wait, you know. He'll wife you up if you're the prize, if you're that unicorn. But this video went on pretty long. I apologize, guys. Let me know what you have to think. I'm sorry, let me know what you think. And, leave me a comment, give me a like. Definitely subscribe. Like I said, I appreciate it. But yeah, just give me some feedback on this video, your thoughts. And I'll say it one more time. So I'm gonna share his information. Check out Busy Becoming Myself's channel, the First Date Podcast. It's them I have to thank for this video. But yeah, just like, share, and subscribe, etc., etc. Venmo and whatever, PayPal. Just if you do want to reach out to me, my email's asamarriedman.com. And I'll hit you guys up on the next one. Thanks for listening.